Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Hormones Etc Masterclass. I am so excited to be here and to share what I've discovered with you because I really hope that it's going to challenge you to take a little bit of control and really start to embrace the change, right? I've called it Hormones Etc because I believe that this is an amazing opportunity for us to embrace the change and to embrace the changes that we're feeling in our bodies, in our minds, and in the way that we view the world and our place in it. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and we'll go straight into the actual masterclass. So bear with me. Let's go for it. Da, da, da. Here we go. So let's get into the presentation mode, shall we? Here we go. All right. So my name is Colette Pinar. I am a fitness professional. I have been working with women for the last 16 years and I have started my own journey hurtling towards menopause. I have been in decline, I would imagine, probably for the last 5 years at least. And in August last year, I hit rock bottom. And the experience that I had was so dramatic that and some of you will say, what does that mean? What does rock bottom mean? Well, I felt suicidal. I felt like my life had come to an end. I wanted to leave my husband. I wanted to, just take some really make some dramatic changes to my life. And it just wasn't me. I was low. I was depressed. I cried at the drop of a hat. There were just days that I would just blub my way through the day. It was ridiculous. And looking back on all of that now, I understand that had loads to do with my hormonal makeup and what was going on with my hormones at the time. Now that I'm a year on from that and I have made some changes to my lifestyle, I've also started taking HRT, which is suitable for me. Okay, it's not suitable for everybody, but it's worked for me. I feel like a different person. And I really wanted to share with you what that journey looked like for me and what that journey looks like for so many women that I talk to. If you take nothing away from today, just know that you're not alone. Okay, know that there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women who are going through exactly what you're going through. And we are all on the same river. We might not be in the same boat, but we're all on the same river. So let's crack on. I'm going to share with you a really simple way to find balance and to take control. But before we start, I want you to grab a pen and a piece of paper, please. I'd like you to make sure that you've got no distractions around you, that you've turned off your phone, you've shut the door, and that you are actually going to dedicate yourself to spend the next 40 minutes or so with me as we talk through this presentation. Okay, it's really important. Take the time now. Here we go. So I'm Colette Pina. I'm a wife, a friend, a daughter. I'm a sister, and I'm a woman that is in your corner. And I genuinely mean that I am. Who am I? Why should you trust me? Well, I'm a fitness professional. I work as a personal trainer at Nuffield in Surbiton. I've been serving women in Surbiton, Surrey, globally. In some cases, I've got clients in South Africa, clients in New Zealand, for the last 16 years. So I am a seasoned fit pro. I am somebody who works out. And, I love working out in the gym, and I live and breathe what I teach. And I teach classes, so I'm a fitness instructor as well. I am a fitness model. I am a presenter. I've presented loads of different kind of presentations on different topics, usually and mostly to do with taking control, right? And on actually having a look at your body, taking care of your health, your wellness, your nutrition, your exercise, all that stuff. And I am also a physique athlete. So that's a picture of me on the right in my stupidly small bikini quite a few years ago now, competing on stage. That was my very, very first competition. Right. I believe that family is everything. I am married. My mum and dad are still in South Africa. I've got 2 brothers in South Africa as well. And I don't have children, but I have fur bags. So these are my 4 dogs, and they range in age from 8 months, little Fifi on the bottom right, to Milo top left, who is 11. We've got Dottie next to him, who is 5, and we've got little Dexter, who is 3, bottom left. And they are all rescues, rehomes of some shape or another. I've got 3 from Romania. Milo I've had for the longest. He's been with me for about 9 years, and he is from all the way from Ireland, but a rehome through a friend. The other 3 are all from Romania. So I have a thing about helping dogs. Right. So I know that we were all going to experience menopause at some point in life, and I really wish that I knew more about it before I began the journey. And this is really why I created this masterclass. I want to demystify this time of life and offer a practical solution to the challenges that we face. So today I'm going to show you how to take control and to get back in the driving seat. Here we go. You know what, in August last year I thought it was the end of the world, but I've come to realize that it's the beginning of a brand new chapter, and we're going to spend a third of our lives as postmenopausal women. And that thought terrified me at the time because I was so miserable. But there is a way to make life a little bit more pleasant for yourself, and it is the beginning of a new chapter. It's just like turning a page. Right, let's start by defining menopause. Okay, it's defined as the time in women's lives when menstrual periods stop permanently and they are no longer able to bear children. Menopause typically occurs between 49 and 52 years of age. The health service in the UK treats a 45-year-old woman as perimenopausal, and the average age in the UK of menopause is 51. So that gives you a 6 year band of time where you are potentially going to be feeling this hormonal flux that I keep talking about and the decline that I'm talking about. Medical professionals often define menopause as having occurred when a woman has not had any menstrual bleeding for a year. It may also be defined by a decrease in hormone production by the ovaries. In those who've had surgery to remove their uterus, for example, but still have ovaries, menopause may be considered to have occurred at the time of surgery or when their hormone levels fell. Following the removal of the uterus, symptoms typically occur earlier, and that's at an average age of about 45. So it's quite a dramatic time in somebody's life, right? The whole idea of not being able to bear children when you could, fills a lot of people with a deep sense of mourning, especially if you haven't had children and perhaps wanted them. Even if, some of my girlfriends, even if they've had kids and definitely don't want them, they still experience that whole kind of, the realization that they couldn't actually have any more, even if they wanted to. So it is quite a dramatic time, and it's filled with all kinds of emotional responses to things. Very often it feels like a roller coaster has just derailed in your life and like everything has just gone to shit, right? When your estrogen drops, your progesterone also drops, and it feels like it does a little loop, right? Testosterone, I've said, here has a party all on its own. It's really no wonder that we feel out of control. So we've got estrogen receptors all over our bodies, and we feel that decline in everything. So, it's about anxiety. You can feel it in your skin, you can feel it in your hair, your eyesight, your hearing. Some people develop tinnitus, some people have aching teeth, some people struggle with bone density, some people struggle with bladder control. There are all kinds of things that happen. And it's no wonder that we feel completely out of control. So estrogen does this whole little bouncing ball thing. Progesterone has a lovely little smooth, sloping downward spiral, and testosterone is a little stepped kind of progressive decline. And they all decline together, but maybe not at the same rate. So there's a lot that goes on for all of us. The symptoms associated with menopause happen during perimenopause. And, you might have experienced some or all, or maybe none of these. Perimenopausal symptoms occur and quite dramatically occur in about 75% of the population. The other 15% kind of sail through and don't really know. And that might be because they're on birth control, might be because they've got the Mirena coil, might just be because their lifestyle has taken them through a very, very gradual decline. So some of the symptoms are irregular periods with a heavier or a lighter flow, weight gain, and when I ran this masterclass to a live audience last week, and everybody was raising their hands going, yeah, that's me, right? Weight gain, fatigue, strong PMS symptoms, hot flushes, night sweats, breast tenderness, hair loss, hair thinning, or even changes in the texture of your hair. Accelerated heartbeat. How many people do you know have had heart palpitations? I have, right? Headaches, low libido, mood swings, anxiety, irritability, depression, insomnia, vaginal dryness, dry skin, urinary tract infections, or frequent urination because your bladder control just doesn't exist anymore. So when menopause occurs, so when you get to the end of your periods and you are no longer bleeding or haven't bled for a year, most of these symptoms, if not all of them, will go away. But there are cases of women who are in their 70s and 80s who still have hot flushes. So there is a continual decline all the way through into menopause, postmenopause. When hormones are out of balance, even the most mundane tasks can feel absolutely massive. And I think that the thing to realize is that there are usually big life changes happening at this time of our lives. And the symptoms of perimenopause can be associated with feelings of stressfulness and maybe anxiety and lack of sleep because of our lifestyles and because of what's going on. Some of us will have elderly parents that are perhaps not very well and need to be cared for, children who are growing up, leaving home, going to university, maybe partner retiring, maybe your relationship is changing, maybe you are just facing burnout. All of these things will feel very similar, and you'll have a lot of symptoms that are very, very similar, just due to the fact that your circumstance is where it is. The thing to kind of distinguish and to try and distinguish is what is hormonal imbalance and hormonal flux and what is down to my lifestyle. So, if you are stressed out all the time because, your relationship is changing, for example, then you're not going to sleep particularly well. And what happens is all of our perimenopausal symptoms just become magnified. So, what do we do about it? Well, the 3 questions that everybody asks me is, am I going insane? What is hormonal and what is life, right? And what lifestyle factors contribute, and then what to do about them. So I'm going to try and answer those questions for you today. The 3 biggest challenges facing women in their 40s and beyond, we're going to talk about the old model of weight management and why it's dead, my 5-pillar approach and how it stops hormonal weight gain in its tracks, how building a strong and sculpted body impacts your mindset because you feel better, you feel stronger, right? And what you can do today to take control. So the 3 biggest challenges facing women in their 40s and beyond are, number 1, weight gain that just appears. Women are told to exercise more and eat less to lose weight. Well, it's actually pretty bad advice. It just doesn't work for most of us. Challenge number 2 is a waistline that is just disappearing. We're told that when we reach a certain age, there's no going back. Your waist is just going to enlarge and just get bigger. Well, it doesn't have to be like that, right? And number 3 is they just don't know where to start. Women are told that reaching menopause is the end of the road. Well, it doesn't have to be like that either. So let's start talking about the old model of weight management and why it is completely dead. This is it. Eat less, exercise more. You've heard that before, right? Everybody has. And this is the old model of weight management. It just doesn't work. Exercise only accounts for a small proportion of our daily calorie burn. And really, that daily calorie burn is a combination of hormones, nutrition, activity levels, and those things create the body that we wear. So we've got to be thinking more holistically Eating less, continually starving yourself will impact the metabolic rate and result in the downregulation of the metabolism, which is an absolute disaster, especially as we head towards menopause. You know, I'm going to show you what to do instead, but I think understanding where you are is so important. You know, 3 things happen as we age. Number 1, our bodies stop producing as much digestive enzyme. So from 50 onwards, you really need to be supplementing with that. The second thing that happens is our metabolism slows down, and you would have felt that in your body probably from the age, from 40, maybe 42 is when I started to feel those changes. And then the third thing that happens is your digestive process slows down. Because you're not digesting your food, everything sits in you for a little bit longer, which means that naturally your belly is going to feel bigger. Naturally it's going to get bigger and more expansive. Plus, we deal with all kinds of stress in our lives. We've got cortisol happening in our bodies. We've got adrenal overload. We've got all kinds of things happening, right? So we're going to unpack some of these in a few minutes. I just kind of wanted to set the scene there, because eating less, exercising more is really one tiny little part of an entire picture. So, my 5-pillar approach that stops hormonal weight gain in its tracks. And for those of you who've been following me on socials, for those of you who've met me in the gym and have been talking to me on a one-to-one basis, you'll be familiar with this. The 5 pillars are nourish, train, hydrate, recover, repeat. All right, write them down. Just write those down, because I'm going to refer to them again. So, building a strong, sculpted body impacts your mindset. It makes you feel better, makes you feel stronger. And at this point, I just want to encourage you to say this with me. All right, I can create the figure, the mindset, and the life of my dreams by getting off the dieting roller coaster and taking control. It's about stopping the diet. It's about eating properly. So that's why we nourish first. And that nourishment is the key to getting going, right? I know from experience that health is the anchor that underpins our ability to live life to the full. Have a little read of this. Let this resonate and settle with you for a minute. We don't actually change until the pain to stay the same is greater than the pain it will take to change, right? So very often, and sadly, when women take control of their weight, take control of their health, is because they've hit rock bottom, or because they're confident in their genes, or because their partner's rejected them, or because they've had some kind of dramatic change, maybe a health scare. You know, something dramatic has happened, which has forced that change. It's just human nature. You know, it's only when it gets more painful to stay where you are that you actually change. So the question is, are you at that point? Are you feeling like you need to push the boat out and that you actually need to do something about this? Because if you are, I've got an offer for you. I've got a little solution for you that I'm going to talk to you about at the end. Okay, it's an opportunity to work with me one-to-one. So here we go. What you can do today to take control. All right, you can set yourself a goal and you can find your next steps. And we're going to talk about what that looks like. So setting yourself a goal, imagine what you could achieve if you committed yourself to finding your perfect formula and then did what was required. Imagine it. First step is to get clear. So understand where you are. Where are you right now? And the question is, what do these women have in control that maybe have in common that maybe you don't? Okay. And if you have a look at these pictures, you know, the discussion that came through in my live event last week was, well, they're all muscular, they all look fit, they're all slim. You know, the woman at the bottom is weight training in the middle. You know, when was the last time you wore a bikini and looked and felt amazing? You know, some people don't care. Some people don't really give a monkeys. Some people haven't worn a bikini for like 10 years. Some people have never worn one. The answer to that question is that they are all sub 25% body fat. Now, when somebody comes to work with me, the first thing that we do is figure out what their body fat percentage is, because we look at body composition. It's not about the number on the scales. It's not necessarily about your dress size. It's about your body fat percentage, because a body fat percentage that is above 30% carries more risk factors. It's all the kind of the risk factors of developing things like diabetes, heart disease, having a stroke. Your visceral fat level is going to be far too high. So you've got to think about dropping your body fat percentage, and the way you do that is through working with me, through figuring out where you are. Okay, so question here. What is your body fat percentage? And some of you will have a scale that you can hop on that will tell you. And if you train in a gym, a decent gym, it'll also have a scale that you can hop on. My one-to-one clients get measured. And you will know where you are in terms of your body fat percentage. So it's about figuring it out. Figure out where you are. Are you below 30%? Are you above 30%? Are you heading towards 40%, maybe 45%? And if you are, you know that you've got to start to do something about it, because our metabolism slows down. We don't digest as much food as efficiently, and we don't get the nourishment that we need because our body doesn't produce the digestive enzyme that we need. Okay, so you've got to take care of those three things. And there are only three things that stimulate your metabolic rate. The first thing is eating. Your body has to turn on to digest food. We know that that's inefficient at the moment. Exercise. And if you're not exercising at the right intensity, that's pretty inefficient at the moment. And the third thing is muscle mass. So if you've got a good level of muscle mass on your body, your metabolism or your basal metabolic rate is going to be lifting and getting higher and higher and higher the more muscle mass you develop. So the thing we can do is build muscle, and that's really what we're wanting to do at this stage of life. So where is your body fat percentage? Have a little think about it. All right, figuring out where you are is the first step, and getting really honest with yourself is sometimes the most difficult thing to do, but it's that reality check that you need that's going to catapult you to feeling the pain of where you are and actually making a change. All right, so if you're putting your hand up to this and saying, yes, I'm hungry, hungry all the time, right? Secret eating, maybe nipping to the fridge at midnight because you're starving, constantly stressed. All of these things work together. They all feed each other. A lack of sleep, all right? And low energy as a result of all of that. If you're feeling like that, then understand that the old model of weight management is holding you back, and it's time now to take control. Because what's the first thing that we do when we feel fat and we don't fit into our clothes, right? We starve ourselves. We get hungry, right? Starve yourself, and then you do loads and loads of cardio thinking that that's the answer, because that's what you've been told to do. Exercise more, eat less. Well, it doesn't work. Cardio is something that we use strategically, and it's something that we use to drop body fat, but for that to work, you have to have a decent level of muscle mass. Otherwise, you're just going to get skinny and saggy and, not look like the toned, healthy person that you can be. So, permanent diet. This is the old model. On a permanent diet. Slow metabolism as a result of that permanent diet, right? Old methods of training. So doing lots and lots of high-intensity training doesn't work anymore. You've got to be mixing it up, and you've got to be building that intensity into your training protocol, but for short little snippets of time. So a spin class is awesome, but you need to be doing weight training as well. A skills hit class is awesome, but you need to be doing weight training as well. Okay, so it's about balancing things out. And intense exercise while cutting calories for menopausal weight gain just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Your whole metabolism downregulates. Been there, done it. Okay, I get it. Exercising more, eating less increases stress in the body, and having elevated stress hormones like cortisol running around the body is the main reason why we gain belly fat. If you want to get results, you've got to reduce stress on your body, and exercise creates stress in the body. Now, I'm not suggesting that you don't exercise. What I'm suggesting is that you are mindful about the exercise that you do. Okay, so the National School of Exercise Science tells us that we need to be doing 2 to 3 weight training sessions in a week, 2 to 3 cardio sessions in a week, and 1 to 2 stretch, Pilates, yoga, that kind of session in a week. So write that down. 2 to 3 cardio, 2 to 3 weight training, 1 to 2 stretch. Okay, and you can do them on consecutive days. So, you could go in and do a weight training session followed by a spin class, or have your upper body workout, go and do some abs and go and do a yoga class. Okay, so you can make it work. You can make it work for yourself. You can do your cardio by walking 10,000 steps in a day, and then doing some weight training or resistance training with bands at home if that's what you've got, if you haven't joined a gym. So there are lots of things you can do to take care of this. It's not just about having a gym membership and going into the gym, right? Although that will make it easier. So we've got to reduce stress on the body. We've got to stop cutting our calories too low. We've got to stop doing lots and lots of cardio. All right? Please promise me you're going to listen. Step number 2, set your goal. So where are you? Okay, this was my goal setting process at the beginning of the year. So that's me on the left, 2.5 stone heavier. That's me in the middle in that bikini. That was pre-stage. I was about 14% body fat there. So that was just before I was going to hop onto stage for the first time. That's me now in the middle, and then the girl on the right is kind of my body crush at the moment. I'm looking at her and just thinking, wow, look at her thighs. She's got incredible legs, right? Look at her midsection. She looks fabulous. So that is kind of my goal, and I need to train in the gym consistently and eat properly to be able to get there. That's my challenge. I understand the process to get there, and I'm going to do what it takes to move closer to that goal for myself. So once you know what you want to achieve, it's about understanding the process and what it's going to take to get there, and then to do it. So making the commitment is the key. So, I love this picture because those 2 locks are so committed to staying on that iron bar that they're just not coming off, right? You can see all the rust that's on them. They've been there for a very long time and they've made the commitment to stay there. That's the level of commitment it's going to take for you to get there, for you to make the changes and to see the results in your body. Things just take a little bit longer than we think they're going to take, right? You've got to make the space to do it. That means scheduling workouts and scheduling your food prep. And stop being insane, the same old thinking, same results. It's doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. So if you are not willing to change the way that you do things, you're going to continue to stay stuck. Right. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. You're right. Step number 3, make a decision. It's about choosing it. It's about making a decision to start. It doesn't matter what your life looks like. It's about pulling up your big girl panties, sticking on that cape, and making the first step. Every single one of us faces challenges. We face problems. We have crisis in life. We have, tax to pay. We have, lots of things going on in our lives that have a massive impact on our ability to actually dedicate time to looking after ourselves. But you know what, unless you do take the time and make that effort, you're not going to see the progress that you're looking for, and you're going to stay stuck, and it's going to become more and more difficult to help the people around you unless you're taking care of yourself. So this is an opportunity to kind of reassess where you are and where you are placing your emphasis, because wherever you focus, your energy is going to flow there. If you focus on your health and wellness, your energy is going to flow there. That doesn't mean that there's no time for your day job, of course. You've got to factor it in. So, what do we do about it? How do we do it? Well, first thing is about your mindset. It's about being prepared to fail, going, do you know what? I'm going to fail. Sometimes I'm going to fall off the wagon, but also I've got to be prepared to fail in the gym. And that's about working to failure. And I'll teach you more about that when you work with me. But it's about progressive overload in your workouts and making sure that you're getting the most out of your workouts, and therefore convincing your body to lay down muscle so that you get stronger and you increase your metabolism so you can eat more and get leaner. Can you see how all of this works together? It all works together. You've got to be eating properly. It's the whole nourish, train, hydrate, recover and repeat. Trust the process. Those 5 steps will get you there, but you're going to have to get a little bit uncomfortable to start moving forwards. Love that picture, don't you? Love it. So, it's about being kind to yourself, not beating yourself up because you haven't got to the gym or because you haven't prepped your food. It's about making the most of where you're at. Being kind to yourself, so important. And then just stop looking for the magic pill. So many of us just want a quick fix solution. Colette, I want to drop a stone in a month. Well, you can do that by drinking milkshakes and starving yourself. But actually, it's not going to help your body fat percentage. It's not going to help you build muscle. And it's certainly not sustainable. So stop doing it. It's pointless. Absolutely. Going on juice fast, it's pointless. All right? Take control and take control properly. Eat properly to nourish your body. And I promise you, you're going to feel that much better. Okay, there is nothing holding you back anymore. Okay, stop stalling and just take control. As soon as you look at where you are, as soon as you understand where you want to go, you can figure out the steps that it's going to take to get there. And it's not that hard, it just takes consistency. So my journey of transformation started in Antigua. We were on a sailing holiday, having an amazing time, and we had just found this bar in a little bay called Green Bay. The rain had been chucking it down. We'd had a bit of a hairy ride to get to this bay, but once we were there, it was just felt so safe. And of course, you can see the weather has turned. We got off the boat and we found this bar, and they were serving happy hour cocktails. And these were called, what are they called? I've gone completely blank. Painkillers, which is exactly what I needed. I cannot be on a boat for a long time. I was just feeling completely out of it and just not wanting to be on that thing for another minute. So I was so pleased to be on dry land. And I think at this point of taking this picture, I'd probably had about 5 painkillers. And, we were having a great time. But I looked at that photograph when it came through, and I just didn't recognize that person. I looked at that girl and I thought, gosh, she is old before her time. I could see how exhausted I was. I was throwing everything into my business and actually not spending any time taking care of myself. My husband had to drag me on holiday, right? And I just wasn't happy. I wasn't satisfied with where I was. And I knew that when I looked at those pictures, I had to start to take control. So I did. Okay, what I did was I made a commitment. I took care of my nutrition. I got off the diet because I was always on a diet. I took care of my sleep. I took care of the residual stress in my body. We carry lots of residual stress, which has an impact on our adrenal glands, which has an impact on insulin being shoved into our bodies, which has an impact of the cravings that we feel and our inability to say no to food, being hungry all the time, right? You've all been nodding your head. And that residual stress we feel when our bodies lay down belly fat. And we just feel awful because we get fat, right? You've got to take control of this residual stress, and that takes a physical release. I was inconsistent and I was continually looking for the magic pill, the quick fix. A lot of the time, it was just about accepting where I was. I just wasn't willing to actually have a look at myself in that photograph. Photos don't lie. So when you take a photograph of yourself and you have a look at it and you suddenly go, oh my gosh, that is who I am, where I am. It's a real wake-up call. So, looking for the magic pill and not accepting where you are. I had to make a decision. That's what I did. I stopped making the excuses, nailed my nutrition, worked my butt off, literally, and I took time to recover. What I learned is that happiness is the key to life and health is the anchor, because without your health, you've got nothing. You just can't function, right? I also learned that we live once. This is a picture of my granny who was frolicking in the water in Greece. She used to do the Ionian Islands, go island hopping, and she taught me from very, very young in my life that you live once, and it's about just enjoying every single moment that you have. They never come back, right? Once they're gone, they're gone. I also learned that the only person responsible for my happiness was myself. The only person responsible for your happiness is you. So you've got to take control. I realized that the one thing holding me back was me. It was just about me putting all of these silly blocks in place. Don't take care of myself. Don't make the time to prep my food. Don't exercise consistently. My diet is bad. It just wasn't kind to myself. Do you know what I mean? All those things. So if you're waiting for a sign, then this is it. This is your opportunity to hop on. So if I can do this, if I can go from the girl on the right, 2.5 stone heavier, down to skinny girl, bottom right, to physique athlete, where I'd built my body and I'd built that muscle. I did that in 18 months. If I can do that, you can do it, right? Okay? So it's not an insurmountable goal and objective, and I'm not suggesting that all of you want to hop on stage. Probably not. But if you did want to, you could. All right? If I can do it, so can you. So that holiday light bulb moment is where I decided that I had to get my health back and I had to look after myself better. I had to take care of it because it just suddenly became non-negotiable. I had that aha moment, that moment of the pain to stay here is more and greater than what it's going to take for me to change. And when I took care of it, everything started to change for me. All right, so I know what it takes to get there, and it just takes a little bit of time. You've just got to be consistent. So create your plan now. Figure out where you are. What is your body fat percentage? Where do you want to be? Okay, and that's got to be sub 30% body fat. Maybe grab a photograph of yourself when you were feeling fantastic, when you were happiest, when you were most satisfied with your figure. Maybe you have a celebrity crush. I love J-Lo. I think J-Lo is amazing. And I just, I try and I just want to build a body that I'm proud of, something that functions, something that is strong, and she's my girl. She's my kind of my girl crush. I love J-Lo's figure. So setting a goal is important, getting clear on the process and asking for help. Now the process that I've talked about is my 5-pillar plan. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that in a little bit more detail in just a second. The big problem is that we all need help and support, right? And there is no program designed for us. There's nothing on the market. I've done my research, which is why I've built one. Okay. So for this masterclass, I'm giving you an opportunity to access my 28-day MENO Minimizer program, and you can jump on today. The 28-day Minimizer eliminates bloating, flushes toxins, and boosts energy. There's no starving yourself, all right? There is no eating, lettuce or boring food and spending hours and hours on intense exercise. So it's about learning to embrace the change. It's about minimizing the impact hormonal flux has on the body and learning what it means to nourish, train, hydrate, recover, and repeat at this stage of life. So it's called the 28-day MENO Minimizer Plan, and it is especially available for you. All right. So if you're interested, drop me a little message, and I'll talk to you about the process and talk to you about how you get signed up for it and what that looks like. So the 5-pillar approach, Nourish, is about nourishing your body. It's about looking after your nutrition, making sure that you're eating enough food and eating enough of the right stuff. A lot of women who come to me are just not eating enough food. They're starving themselves, okay? Or overeating on all the wrong things because they have got cravings and because they're hungry and they're stressed and they stress eat. Okay, so this whole package kind of, you've sort of got to look at your whole lifestyle as a very holistic, from a holistic perspective, and that's exactly what we do on this program. So you learn to nourish yourself, you learn to train at the right intensity, we've touched on that. You learn to hydrate, and that's drinking 2 to 3 liters of water in a day. And it's about committing yourself to doing that consistently. It's about recovering properly and making sure that you're taking care of your recovery, because if you're not able to recover, and that's up to 43% of our time we need to be spending at rest, if you're not able to recover, your body will take that time. And do you know what? If you're not sleeping properly, If you're stressed all the time, you're going to have belly fat, period. You're going to be fat. That's just a fact of life. Chuck in all of your hormonal imbalance and your body's just going to balloon. Okay, so many women experience this, and you can take control, but you've got to be willing to take the plunge. Nourish, train, hydrate, recover, repeat. So, how does that sound? Interesting? 5-pillar approach is exactly that. Okay, and that's what we focus on the program. So you get a 4-week eating plan. You get some amazing plant-based recipes. That's the way that I eat. So I'll teach you how to eat in a plant-based way and get all the food, all the nourishment that you need. You can always tweak your protein. So it's not the end of the world if you're looking at those recipes and going, oh my God, I just want some chicken. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. It'll work. We do strategic exercise, and we strengthen and challenge the body. That is the key, is building muscle. You get access to my app. And you will know exactly what you need to be doing every single day. So, you know, this is an example program which gives you a full schedule. It's a little example of a push workout over there, and then you'll see that you can see the actual exercises so that you know exactly what you need to be doing. And then there's a logbook for you to monitor your progress. So my one-to-one clients take photographs. Well, I take photographs of them and we load them in. You can do that remotely if you want to. There's results tracking where you weigh and measure yourself. And there is a habits protocol that I use on this 28-day plan, which will just get you moving forward quite quickly. There's nothing nicer than ticking off a workout, you know, or ticking off the fact that you've actually trained your quads and your hamstrings. It's just quite an intuitive, amazing little app, and you'll have access to that. So it's a 4-week program for £197. It comes with an eating plan, it comes with recipes, it comes with strategic exercise, and access to my app. And I will hold you accountable the whole way, all right? So if there are any questions, I'd like you to pop them underneath this, or send me a little message directly, or check in with me on our Facebook group, and let me know if you've got questions, and I will gladly answer them, all right? I will also pop a link underneath this, which will give you an opportunity to purchase the program and get on board. All right. So without further ado, I want to say thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you've had a great experience and that you have learned something this evening. Yeah, thank you for joining me, and I will see you on the next masterclass. Bye for now.